Well, some of you may be asking, Riley, where did you even get this idea? This is certifiably goofy. No sane person thinks, you know what I need to categorize? I need to categorize my Battlecat OCs based upon what they would be if I put them in a soup. That is not a normal thought to have. But, I promise there's not a reasonable explanation, but there is an explanation behind it. See, on my little Tumblr page, you can send in little like anonymous asks. You can send in questions and stuff. And one of them I got was from a person that basically said like, "Hey, I subconsciously associate Birch Speckle, your character, with bone marrow, with the taste of bone marrow. So that's a thing." And I was like, "Wow, that's incredible. What foods would my other little guys be?" But food is such a broad category, and so I decided to go with soup ingredients. I mean, because, like, who doesn't like soup, right? Except for there's probably a lot of people that don't like soup. But I like soup, so this is what we're doing. Okay, I guess we'll start with Mudpaw. Mudpaw is chili oil, because it's like it can be a delicious addition to soup, and it's like a little on the subtle side because the spice hits you on the back end of your bite, but it also never really mixes with your soup, and it mostly sits on top of the other liquids. All right, now we'll do Wrentail. Wrentail is a dried chili pepper. It's flavorful, and it can make a good addition to soup in the beginning, but you have to take it out before you start serving it, because if you take a delicious bite of your soup and most of that bite is just a dried chili pepper, you're going to have a very unpleasant time. Next is Hawkpaw. Hawkpaw is ginger. Ginger is a strong flavor, and it's like really good in a lot of soups, but it can be a little bit shocking if you take a bite and you've got like a big chunk of it in your bite, and you like bite down and you're like, ooh. But the longer that it cooks, it softens and it sort of sweetens. Whitepaw is a sweet potato. They're sweet and hearty, and they go well in like a lot of types of soup. So it's a great little ingredient to have in your meal. Puddlepaw is split peas. They make for a really healthy, hearty soup, and they kind of break down as they cook, and that's really what kind of brings out their flavor. Guess we'll do the Mentors next. Gully Tuft is lentils. They're healthy, and they're pretty tasty to some people, but not everybody's a really big fan. But they are like really good for you. Robin Song is butternut squash. They're sweet and soft, and they blend well with lots of soup. They can work as cut up into chunks, or they can work as like a blended base, or a broth. Very versatile, very tasty, all that good stuff. Sandleap is dried bean curd, but specifically the kind that's tied into knots. It's tasty and it's healthy, and it's just a little bit silly because it's tied in nuts. And it has a similar texture to meat, but it's plant-based. Larkstar is rice. It's filling and it's cost-effective, but it's not really flavorful. Rice can make for a good addition to soups, but only rice makes for a really bland, porridge kind of thing. It's reliable though, especially if you need just a little bit to go a long way. Foxjaw is chicken stock concentrate. Not like bouillon, but like a concentrate. Because it's convenient and it's a reliable base for soup, but it's not incredibly delicious or anything. It works when you need soup, It works when you need soup. Next up we've got Owl Pounce. Owl Pounce is a carrot. They're sweet, and they're hearty, and they're healthy, and they're a really great addition to most soups. Pro tip, if you've ever got a soup that you're really excited to eat, but then you realize, no, I burned the bottom, on the stove. It's ruined the whole soup. Try and add some carrots in there, because they can kind of soak up bad flavors sometimes and level out like that bitterness and make it can salvage your soup, and it's like, wow, healing carrots. Alright, after that little tangent, paraffin is noodles. They're comforting and filling, but they're not really healthy, but they're really tasty. Ember Tooth is a ramen seasoning packet. It's not really proper bouillon, and it's really salty, but it's good to use in a pinch. It's just not really anybody's first choice, you know? Laurel Tail is dumplings, but specifically the, like, southern USA, like, flour, salt, and water, toss it into the soup kind of dumpling, where it's just, like, it's not really flavorful, but it's got a cool texture, you know? Okay, now we are entering the realm of characters that have not appeared on the channel yet, but will eventually, probably, maybe. First of them, we'll go with Birch Speckle, because, you know, she started this whole thing. Let's pay our respects to Birch Speckle. You know, as described by that anonymous person on my blog, Birch Speckle is bone marrow. It's dependable and it's healthy, and it makes for a really great base for stock, but it's also a little freaky sounding to people who don't know how soups work. Next we have Possum, or Possum Pelt. He's sesame oil. Sesame oil is tasty in soup, but it doesn't really mix very well, and it's probably better off being used in like a stir fry or like a sauce, you know? Next is sweet pea. Sweet pea is nutmeg. It's not a traditionally used soup ingredient / seasoning, but it's like, you know, it's really good in the proper circumstances, you know, like a nice pumpkin soup or like a squash soup, something creamy like that. You know, it can really enhance the flavor profile. Next we have Snaptail. Snaptail is tofu. It's soft and it takes on the flavor of whatever it's cooked with, and, you know, some people love it and some people hate it, and that's okay. And the last one we have is a character that is very unlikely to actually appear in the story at any point, but I made him at an earlier stage of the story when it had a different ending, and I love him anyway. So this is Remus, and Remus is fish sauce. It's a little odd to people who don't use it, and it can be a bit of an acquired taste, but to the people that do use it, you know, they usually like it a lot, you know? So, yeah. That's Battle Cat OCs as soup ingredients. I hope this was entertaining, maybe, perhaps? I mean, I had fun. So, yeah, that's it. Bye!